Pearl and the Joker have in common? Well, they're both scary, yes. They're both crazy, yes. And they both seem to like killing people. However, if you're like me and you watch a lot of scary movies, you begin to pick up on a lot of similarities and parallels. In truth, the Joker and Pearl are villains with amazing origin stories that touch on society's worst fears. What are those fears, you might ask? Well, it's aging, because women become undesirable and practically invisible after a certain age. It's shattered dreams. How many of us dreamed about being a football player or a movie star? And most importantly, our worst fear is chaos, deterioration, negativity, destruction.
I believe whatever doesn't kill you simply makes you stranger.
Innately, we understand that society is held together by a few strings, and if gently pulled, can unravel into complete destruction. Our human mind, sadly, is very much the same. It really doesn't take too much for us to tip in the wrong direction. And watching Pearl, a woman spiraling into madness, helps us understand how fragile the human mind can actually be. So in this video, we're going to analyze Pearl to truly understand how sweet and innocent people can devolve into crazy, maniac serial killers. So please stay tuned. I don't know about you, but when I was watching X, I was glued to the screen. It was exciting from the very beginning, mostly because the movie was about, well, you guys guessed it, sex. Sex sells, and there was enough tits and ass in this movie to drive an incel crazy. However, Pearl, the sequel, was more of a slow burn. And I don't think that Mia Goth, the actress who played Pearl, even took her clothes off. All scenes were off camera, and the killing didn't really start until the very end. However, I think that's what the writer and the director was going for. After all, this is a movie about deterioration and degradation and negativity and chaos. And that's what deterioration is. It's a slow and gradual process that ends in someone or something's inevitable demise. Now, we have very little understanding of it and even less control of it. All we know is that there's some kind of invisible force threatening to wreak havoc on our very being. To put things into perspective, we need to understand what deterioration really is. In a nutshell, it's negative energy. As a society, we are grossly afraid of negative energy, yet it plays a huge role in our very existence. If you leave out food, it erupts. Your skin over time wrinkles. Your body breaks down from too much wear and tear. The list goes on and on. However, negative energy can also be a good thing. Your immune system fights off disease and bacteria. Pumping weights can help you build muscle and increase your stamina. And breaking certain bad habits can help you elevate and grow. Your body keeps a natural balance. It knows what to destroy and what not to destroy. Sickness occurs when your body starts to go a little haywire. And much like cancer, your body starts to destroy itself by killing off certain cells. There's no rhyme or reason to any of this. It just happens. It's a slow and steady demise until a whole organ fails or the whole body gives way and dies. This kind of deterioration can not only happen on a micro level, but also on a macro level. Entire societies can become infected with a disease, causing all of society's structures and systems to collapse. Perhaps this is the reason why the movie Pearl is a period piece. It was filmed during the 1970s during the First War and the Spanish flu. It was a time of chaos and destruction. Societies were breaking down, power was shifting, and people all over the world were plagued by loneliness, despair, and hopelessness.
Don't linger close to anyone. Papers are warning of a more lethal resurgence. God forbid sickness returns to our home.
In movies, and good horror movies, all the characters are a reflection of the main character's fears.
Caring for your family during these times is admirable. You ought to take pride in that. But don't forget to live your life, too.
In Pearl's case, her strict mother and invalid father are representations of her dreams unrealized. Farm work for Pearl was grueling and unfulfilling. Pearl feared that if she lived her life as a farmhand or a farm girl, that she may end up like her mother Ruth.
When you finished, your father needs change. Don't let him sit in his mess.
Bitter and worn down from a life of disappointments. Or worse, Pearl feared that she may end up like her father, an invalid, sickened and beaten down from the harsh realities of life.
I love you, Daddy, but this is no way to live.
Pearl indulges in fantasies, singing to herself, pretending that her animals are her friends, and dreaming about leaving the farm for good. She sets her sights on Howard, a young farmhand who appeared to come from money. Pearl marries him with the hope of being introduced and accepted to his wealthy family. Only the first war begins. Howard joins partly because of duty, but mostly because of rebellion. He's trying to rebel against his parents, leaving Pearl alone on a farm that she despises. Now, Pearl's mother Ruth is strong and structured and militant. She spews out tough love, attempting to prepare Pearl for a harsh world that not only destroys people, but also their dreams.
There's a dance audition in town tomorrow. I'm going to it.
No, you're not.
Ruth is rugged and tired and crying herself to sleep at night. However, she understands that she is the glue that is holding everything together. With very little money and help, she runs the farm, all while taking care of her sick husband.
I shoulder a burden you will never understand. Spend my days feeding and wiping the snot off the face of the man I married.
Ruth is not living the life that she dreamed of. Instead, she believes it is best to make do with what you have.
One day you'll understand that getting what you want isn't what's important. Making the most of what you have is.
She discourages Pearl from wearing pretty clothing, from spending money frivolously, from focusing on anything aside from the field work that she must do each day.
Malevolence is festering in you, I see it. And I will not in good conscience let you leave this farm again.
However, things change for Pearl when she meets a handsome projectionist. He takes a liking to her, introducing her to the underground world of pornography. He tells Pearl that she is beautiful and talented, and she needs to strike while the iron is hot.
The truth of the matter is, Pearl, you only get one take at this life. And if you don't make the most of it when you're young, you don't get a second chance.
After all, women only have a certain time period to conquer all their goals before they become old and haggard and undesirable. Although it's not explicitly stated, it appears that the projectionist is trying to lure Pearl into a world of pornography. Pearl feels the pressure. She believes that she could be a star if only her parents were gone.
If only they would just die.
Pardon?
She doesn't have the heart to kill him, at least not yet. However, things take a twisted turn when Ruth is set on fire and is left for dead. Pearl is then free to live out her wildest dreams and has a little tryst with the projectionist, only to kill him in the end when he rejects her. Pearl has another breakdown when she auditions to be a part of the traveling troupe of dancing girls. Again, she is rejected. She is inconsolable as her sister-in-law Misty comforts her. To Misty, the dance troupe was just a way to pass the time. Pearl, the dancing troupe, was her lifeline. It was the only thing keeping her from tipping over into the world of madness and chaos.
Please, I'm a star!
I'm sorry, it's me.
To make a long story short, Pearl kills Misty and disposes of the corpse in a very imaginative way, all while leaving her parents to sit at the dinner table to rot and fester. Her husband Howard comes back home only to stare in utter horror at a woman who had become totally unraveled by rejection and unrealized dreams. The food is rotted with maggots and other critters crawling all over it. And yes, my friends, the deterioration process had begun, both on the farm and in Pearl's demented mind. Pearl's dreams were shattered. The cancer of destruction had taken root. And now there was almost nothing left aside from chaos. And that chaos was slowly ruining her life. And that, my friends, is what deterioration is. That is what madness is. It's like a virus or a deadly flu that doesn't just infect its host, but everyone else around him. And that's what Pearl represents. She represents this virus, a deadly disease that needs to be spread in order to survive. However, we sane and healthy people, we need to be self-aware and avoid people like Pearl in order to thrive. This was another video essay by the Modern Mystic. Please support this channel by buying the Voodoo Love series on Amazon.